But anyway, so back to Solana. So uh, in October of last year, when we launched ZenBlocks, obviously we started looking at the best possible engines, and basically Phantom was selected as the engine of choice. But like with anything, uh, anything that's important, you have to have a backup plan. And so the backup plan was basically investigation into non-EVM ecosystems just to see like what they do. So like potentially we could possibly take what we learn from Solana and implement it into the EVM world and actually run better. And so once we launched Solzen on Solana, they reached out to us and they said that, hey, actually, it is look a little scary because we're now taking 30% of the block space on Solana. But the positive net effect that they're experiencing is a reduction of spam and arbitrage transactions that are basically raping poorly priced market orders. So you send a market order and you accidentally set your slippage to 10%. The bot comes in, buys the asset cheaper, and then sells it to you for the maximum slippage, pocketing the difference. Currently, or before Solzen, 30 to 40% of all transactions were literally the arbitrage transactions that try to scalp and basically take your money from anybody who is trying to run a trade. When Solzen launched, because our community actually paying for block space and we're not spamming the chain, and we're really really paying with the transaction fees, whatever they might be, it's still very very inexpensive. Like the single transaction costs like 5 cents, maybe less, but it's still more than the yield generation opportunity for the arbitrage bot that is trying to get your money for free by running arbitrage. And so they reached out and said that, hey, once we launched, all those transactions went away because our ecosystem actually ends up paying for the block space that's getting tokenized into Solzen. So, not in so many words, Solzen opened the door for communication with the Solana ecosystem core development teams, as well as their founder. And you can obviously see it on X that we're interacting. There's various other people that been connecting to us and asking us questions like what we're up to, what are we doing. And so Anatoly actually in public proposed that an SVM there should be more forks of SVM, and we've been told that we will get support should we actually do fork SVM. And by what I mean by support, if you compare it to Phantom, for example, Phantom guys don't even want to talk to us. Like once they learn that we're forking them, they're like, okay, we don't want to talk to you. And it is sad. And also on top of it, the source code got closed. So those two major things where you can't really update the code should you want to maintain the trajectory of the development as usually is done in open source community. That door has closed, and also they're like literally just told us that, hey, we don't like you. And so I think our efforts should go towards places where we're treated best. Solana happens to be treating us the best in the way of technological support as well as just the basic communication. They have never paid us for anything, but because we're working with their nodes now, we're able to discover certain bugs that actually improve Solana. And they're happy to get the feedback from us and potentially in the future integrate our ideas back into their mainnet, which is really great because like if you look at the ecosystem, it's very difficult to find this sort of synergy anywhere on any blockchain project. Everybody's kind of like very guarded, so to speak. You have to only work with them and only like in a particular way, and only then they'll like really talk to you. So with Solana, it seems to be easy. The code seems to be very well written. The team is very, very dynamic. They want to talk to us. We've been having conversations like almost every week. Just today, I did speak to 5 members of the Solana Foundation where they were interested in what are we planning to do with the fork. And I have shared the roadmap with them. Specifically, I have said that we want several things. Number one, we want the integration of Zen blocks. We want the GPU farm to be connected to SVM, to this Solana fork, so that we can allow the hash verification to be done on chain and leverage the GPU farm that now we have running from various community members. There's a lot of Asians that are running Zenblocks, which is really great. They love mining because they used to mine Ethereum, and when Ethereum switched to proof of stake, there was a vacuum created in the space where people had a lot of GPUs with nothing to do. So we're thinking this is actually a really, really good idea to get these Zenblocks integrated. Obviously, at the same time, we have shared that we want to take SVM code, modularize it in such a way that EVM can also be ran on the fork, so that people can integrate and run Solana programs on the same chain. And in today's conversation, they were really interested how we're going to do it. And uh, many times when people attempt to run an EVM compatible code, they're actually modifying SVM to accept Solidity bytecode, which is not what we're planning to do. We have shared that what we want is we want to take a ready-made EVM engine and then just plug it in as a modular L2 that I often talk about, where you have an L1, it runs, and then you have an L2 engine that's running alongside it, but on the same node. So every validator can run both execution layers that can take any sort of programs, whether it's SVM and Rust or EVM and Solidity. So I have shared that. And the other thing that I mentioned, obviously, is we want to have atomic composability with the Solana chain itself. So should, for example, Solzen token become very, very popular on Solana, it shouldn't be enshrined on the Solana mainnet, but should be able to transfer to X1 uh, w- between the wallets that you already own. So, like for example, you own a Solana wallet on their mainnet, and then you want to actually bring it to X1. You should be able to do it in a similar way how Cosmos ecosystem works, which uses an IBC framework, which translates to interbridge chain, which implements a relayer. A relayer basically is a messaging system between the chains. So we should be able to do something similar where Solana mainnet can integrate together with X1. And those guys from Foundation, they want to support this effort because once we release the relayer, it will actually be open source, and other like layer twos or layer ones can use that as an operating bridge between those two projects, which is very, very cool because now
Innovative as
nobody has,
fuck.
yeah, nobody has done this, and like nobody had the reason to do it because there's no Solana L2s. And so I feel like in this space there aren't that many competitors that we have, and if you think about it, every week there's an EVM L2 comes up, and that space is getting very, very fragmented and very, very crowded. So we think in the Solana ecosystem with EVM compatibility, with an IBC like bridge that runs relayers back to the Solana mainnet and back and forth between X1 and Solana, we get to develop something that's like the world hasn't yet seen, with the implementation of proof of work as well, which is really, really cool. So anyway, that's the update for today. That's what we've been working on. A lot of it obviously is relationship building. So it isn't just about the code. It's about interacting with the right people. It's about having founders communicate in public where everybody can see that we're communicating, us sharing the code, like somebody I think reposted the little bug fix that I produced. And so those things are visible. I think it's very, very healthy for our ecosystem to see that this sort of development on both social and technological level is happening, and I couldn't be happier with the results. So anyway, that's the update.